Did you know that every second 5 people are born but only 2 die?
This growing gap is fueling one of the biggest challenges of our time, overpopulation. Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Haafiza.
And my name is Nurin. But first, let's break it down. What exactly is overpopulation and why should we care?
Overpopulation happens when the number of people exceed the Earth's ability to support them. With the rising demand for food, water and energy, we're pushing our planet to its limits.
We chose this topic because overpopulation isn't a faraway problem. It's right here, affecting both our societies and our environment. Think about the overcrowding in public spaces, rising pollution levels, or how resources like water and food are becoming harder to access. These are things that we see every day. It's important to discuss these issues so we can find sustainable solutions for a better future, not just for us, but for the generations to come.
People born 60 years ago have seen the population of the world triple.
We happen to be alive at an incredible time in human history where the world's population is undergoing this massive transformation.
We live in a time of unprecedented population growth.
Yet worries about overpopulation are back.
That's a lot of people.
The world is already struggling to cope with the impacts of our burgeoning species. And with the added pressure of another 2 billion people, we're led to the age-old question: are there too many people on the planet?
How can Earth sustain such a population?
We need to address much more aggressively.
As of 2034, the global population is estimated at 8.1 billion people and is projected to reach 9.7 billion by 2050, according to the United Nations. Over 55% of the world's population now live in urban areas. By 2050, this is expected to rise to nearly 70%, putting immense pressure on cities to provide housing, jobs, and basic services. We are consuming resources 1.7 times faster than Earth's ability to regenerate them. This is known as overshoot, and it's direct consequence of the overpopulation combined with unsustainable consumption patterns.
In Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, the population is expected to double by 2050. This rapid growth is creating challenges in providing adequate housing, education, and healthcare. A study by scientific researchers of United Nations recently linked overpopulation to accelerate climate change, as increased industrial activities to meet rising demands are leading to higher CO2 emissions.
But what do these numbers mean for us? How does overpopulation affect the environment, society, and our daily life? As the population continues to grow, the demand for energy and fossil fuels skyrocket. This leads to a drastic increase in CO2 emissions, contributing to global warming and air pollution. In fact, CO2 emissions have increased 12-fold during the 20th century. This continuous strain on our atmosphere caused serious consequences: polluted air, rising global temperature, and more frequent extreme weather events. We're seeing more wildfire, drought, and storm all linked to this environmental shift.
It's not just the air that's under threat. Our freshwater resources are quickly depleting due to overpopulation. Water sources are drying up in areas where they were once abundant. In landlocked countries, water scarcity is becoming a daily reality. This results in severe challenges for crop production, livestock farming, and even the health of entire populations. As demand for water increases, freshwater systems and rivers are also suffering from pollution, affecting the quality of water we depend on for survival.
The oceans, too, are not exempt from overpopulation toll. Rising sea levels from global warming are threatening coastal cities like Venice and sinking ecosystems like the Arctic. Overfishing, particularly in coastal areas, is depleting marine life at an unsustainable rate. This threatens not only aquatic species but also the livelihood of millions who depend on the ocean for food and income. These changes are disrupting marine ecosystem with serious consequences for food security and the economy.
On land, forests are disappearing at an alarming rate. Deforestation, driven by the demand for more space to support growing populations, has left vast areas of tropical rainforests in ruins. These forests aren't just home to wildlife. They play a critical role in regulating the climate and maintaining biodiversity. Without them, we lose valuable ecosystems that help clean our air, filter water, and even fight global warming. The relentless destruction of forests is also leading to soil erosion and the loss of habitats for countless species, which accelerates biodiversity loss.
And as forests are destroyed, species are facing irreversible loss. The rapid decline in biodiversity due to overpopulation impact on habitats threaten the genetic diversity of many species. When key species disappear, it triggers trophic cascade, disruption in food chains that destabilize entire ecosystem. This doesn't just affect wildlife, it will affect human life as well, as ecosystems provide essential services like pollination and clean water.
But the environmental impacts aren't the only consequence of overpopulation. As the population grows, so does competition for jobs, putting pressure on employment rates and creating higher unemployment in already vulnerable areas. For countries like Malaysia, where job opportunities are limited, this only exacerbates poverty. Increased unemployment leads to greater inequality, which in turn creates more social unrest.
More people means more strain on healthcare system, with hospitals struggling to keep up with demand. In countries already dealing with limited medical resources, this translates to longer wait times and insufficient care. Similarly, overcrowded schools lead to less personal attention for students. In places with overcrowded classrooms, learning becomes less effective and dropout rates rise, which perpetuates cycle of poverty.
Another social challenge is the strain on transportation. More people mean more cars, leading to congested streets, longer commute times, and an increase in air pollution. In major cities, public transport become overcrowded, causing people to choose car instead, which further worsens traffic and contributes to more emissions. The result? A never-ending cycle of pollution and stress that impacts the quality of life for everyone.
With all these pressures on resources, the environment and the society, overpopulation inevitably lowers our quality of life. From overcrowded living spaces to rising cost of living, it becomes harder to maintain the comfort and privacy we once took for granted. The strain on resources, public services, and the environment lead to greater stress, diminished personal space, and a sense of loss of control.
Overpopulation may feel like an unsolvable problem, but there are clear solutions that we can take to address it.
First, one of the best ways to reduce overpopulation is through education. Teaching people, especially young students, about family planning and its impact on the environment and finances is important. Sex education in particular helps the young to understand reproduction and make informed choices about their future.
Other than that, empowering women and girls is just as important. When women have access to education, careers and reproductive health care, birth rates tend to drop. It's also crucial to address issues like child marriage and gender-based violence, which hold women back from making choices about their own lives.
Another key solution is making contraception accessible. In some communities, traditions or social pressure discourage using contraception, while in others, it's just not available. By breaking these barriers, we can help families make choices that are right for them.
And let's not forget adoption. In many developing countries, birth rates are still very high. At the same time, millions of children around the world are in need of families. Promoting adoption can help give these children a home while addressing overpopulation.
This is a very important question to get right, because it was absolutely key for me. When our foundation first started up, it was focused on reproductive health. That was the main thing we did, because I thought, population growth in poor countries is the biggest problem they face. You've got to help mothers who want to limit family size have the tools and education to do that. And I thought that's the only thing that really counts. Well, then I came across articles that showed that the key thing you can do to reduce population growth is actually improve health. And that sounds paradoxical. You think, okay, better health means more kids, not less kids. Well, in fact, what parents are doing is they're trying to have 2 kids survive to adulthood to take care of them. And so the more disease burden there is, the more kids they have to have that high probability. So there's a perfect correlation that as you improve health, within a half generation, the population growth rate goes down. In fact, Hans Rosling here at this conference, in 2 of my favorite speeches, actually showed that unbelievable correlation that population growth has gone down. Today, where is there high population growth? It's in the places with the worst health conditions, northern Nigeria, northern India. And so the 2 problems go exactly hand in hand. If we improve health rapidly, we will get the peak population to be as much as 1 billion below the current expected peak. That is about 8.3 billion versus 9.3.
Overpopulation is a global issue, but every small step counts.
Being informed and spreading awareness about its impact can bring real change. Start conversation about this with your friends, family, or community. Sometimes it's as simple as sharing articles, video, or even this one.
Governments and organizations play a huge role, but change begins with individuals. Be conscious of how our actions like waste management, water usage, and even our education choices can help address overpopulation.
Let's all remember, it's not just about fixing today's problem, but also creating a better world for future generations. The first step, awareness. And you already taken it by watching this video.